Hey YouTube, Mark Kaufman here, and today I want to show you my top 4 knives that made it into my pocket in the month of December. Now, I usually rank this based upon 5 knives, but to be honest, I had to be really fair with this one, and I actually just had 4 primary knives that really made it into my pocket every time I went out the door. And it wasn't anything against the other knives in my collection, it's just these are the 4 that I gravitated to the most and seemed to really enjoy the most in the month of December. Now in Texas, December can be cold, it can be hot, and you kind of dress accordingly. So we've had a lot of up and down weather. Currently we had an 85-degree day today, and this coming weekend we're going to have a high of 41. So yeah, that's Texas for you. So without further ado, let's get into the 4 that I've chosen. So the first one is the Benchmade Valet. I usually went for this one when I ended up having to wear like a hoodie and jeans, and this is just a knife that honestly, it just really slips into the pocket, doesn't take up a lot of space, has a very good blade steel to it, and really can take care of a lot of work without taking a lot of real estate. So that was the first one. The next one is the ZT0770, and this is in the gray format. And this one here I carried primarily when I was going to cut open boxes, when I was going to open envelopes, or possibly even cut up some zip ties. And for me personally, I really like this knife as a knife around the house. It can take care of some heavy-duty work while at the same time being pretty compact, I would say, and relatively thin. So this is one that I was carrying when I needed a knife that was quick to the draw and easy to pull out of the pocket, because the scales are completely smooth. It doesn't really have a lot of traction against the pocket of my jeans, and for me personally, I've really liked that in a lot of knives that I've carried. So kind of along the same lines of this one, I was carrying the Knockout. This thing here is really great. I was actually using this a lot in the yard, cutting up weeds, cutting out grasses that I didn't want in the yard. And for me personally, I found this to be fantastic. The thumb studs is primarily why I carried it, because when I'm wearing gloves, all you really need is just a little bit of a nudge and you've got that thing open. And it really, when you're wearing gloves, you don't really need to think about it, and that's really where the Speed Safe shines. And then when you're wearing the gloves, you kind of have a little bit of time to think about where you're going to close it or how you're going to close it without hitting your fingers or the tips of your gloves. So for me, this was doing a lot of work in the yard, really. And again, it's got a smooth frame, so it's not going to really rip up my pocket at all. So for me, this was an easy choice. Now for the 4th one, I really tried to carry some other knives, but just these smaller, more compact knives. As I try to flick this one open, I need to re-oil this one. It's been getting a lot of pocket time. This one here is the Chris Reeves Small and Cozy, and this one here I carried mostly because I'm in an office. I don't really want to have a huge blade, so I usually go for something, and let me see if I can compare it to, a 91 millimeter. So this is a Handyman, and you can see it doesn't really have a very long blade length there. Put this away, and yeah, so yeah, this one here was just something that I was throwing in my pocket and using primarily because it's very robust, it's very easy to open. You know, it's when you have it oiled, you can flick it open, which I don't have it really oiled right now. It's been getting a lot of pocket time. But for me personally, this is just one that you just open, you cut an envelope, package, few zip ties, I guess, and that's it. Now, as for sharpening this, so far I have just stroked it against a ceramic rod, and it's come back to life very quickly, and the edge just stays there I want to say forever, but I mean, there's stuff like Magna Cut and there's stuff like Rex 45 and LMAX and stuff like that that'll just cut all day. And I mean, S45 VN has been doing very well. I'm not too concerned with it. I mean, it's been doing great compared. I'm gonna sneeze here. Give me a moment. I'm so sorry about that. But yeah, I was trying to fight that one, but I'm so sorry. The S35 VN here is really fantastic. And then when it comes to the M390, I mean, I really love the M390. And Benchmade did a great job on the M390 here. But the S45 VN here is, it feels like a more refined S35 VN, to be honest. When it comes to sharpening, comes to use, comes to wear, I found that it's a little better than the S35. Is it worth all the hullabaloo? I don't know so far in my use, but I've been really enjoying this knife, and I don't regret picking it up. So this is the 4 that I've actually been carrying. I know it's supposed to be 5, but I just really didn't have a need for any of the other knives that I would have carried, which you're probably wondering, well, what are those knives? Well, the knives that were in the running, as I pulled them out here, were the Cold Steel Airlight. So that was something I could have carried, but I just didn't really want to carry it. You know, these are really compact. I don't need a lot of blade length. I have the Blur, and the Blur is great. It's just, I personally really like the fact that this is a flipper, this is a flipper, this is just a thumb stud. So I really like the idea of flipper, and then you've got a flipper and thumb stud option there. So didn't really carry that too much. I've got the Hogue Deca. This thing is stupid smooth, but just, you know, the blue is kind of loud, and these are kind of subdued. And for me, I just haven't been carrying it all that much, primarily because of the blue. Honestly, if I could go back and do it all over again, I'd probably be going with the solid black. But this thing is so smooth. It's really great. It's just, I haven't been carrying it all that much, but I can guarantee you probably in the summer I will be. And then I have the Kershaw Urus. The Kershaw Urus is just a really budget-friendly knife. It's about 45 bucks right now. And it's got speed safe, which I like, HCR13 MOV. But personally, when you have this and then you have that or that, which one are you going to go with? I mean, you're going to go with those two. And so I didn't really carry this at all. So these were kind of the runner-ups. I just ended up not really carrying them. Now, that's not to say that I didn't. It's just, for me, I have to carry it more than 5 times within the month to say, okay, maybe it's gonna make it in here. And most of these, I probably picked them up maybe once or twice and was like, I'm kind of done. So that kind of explains a little bit of the system and how I do it. But these were the 4 for December 2021. So thought you guys would like to see what I chose. Let's see what next month shows us. And I'm going to probably be picking up maybe 1 or 2 modern folders this coming new year. So keep an eye out on those. Until the next video, I will talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.